Welcome to the channel, everyone. This video, I'm going to talk about using panel bonding adhesive. Now, this stuff has been around for years, and when it first came out, when I started first using it, I was a little bit leery, and like anything else, you kind of ease into it. You'll do a small area, maybe you'll overlap a seam on something. As the years go by, you use it more and more. And I think when I first started using it was just for door skins. That was the biggest thing it was recommended for, because you eliminate any corrosion issues between the shell and the new skin. And from there it just progressed. You know, you guys are putting on complete quarter panels, bed sides and stuff with it. And one thing I've never seen, a car that I've repaired using panel bonding adhesive, I've never had one come back from another collision to see how it holds up, if anything ever separates. I've never had an issue with it coming back just because of a problem where a customer wasn't happy or something came apart. So what I'm going to do, I've got this truck fender here, and I'm going to cut this thing in half. I'm going to overlap it, nothing but panel bonding adhesive, and also in the process, I'm going to show you the way I do it anyway, to relieve all these corners. So instead of just having an overlap with one panel on top of the other, this will come out so these two panels will still be flush. I'm going to put an offset in this whole thing, and it's probably going to overlap about 3/4 to 1 inch. So the panel underneath is going to have an offset to it. All the little corners are going to be relieved so they all match up nice and flush. There's no high spots on there. We're going to do it 100% glue joint, and then I'm going to destroy the fender and just see how it holds up. A couple other things I'm going to do with this fender. If you've seen my videos on using a soldering gun, that's mainly what I've used it for, is just like trim holes, stuff like this, bullet holes. Maybe use a stud gun and it pulls a little hole out when you remove the nail, fill in stuff like that, and just cosmetic stuff. And I get comments quite a bit, and people want to know, can you use it on a bigger patch? And I don't recommend it. I don't think there's any structure to it. There's no strength. It's strictly cosmetic. But anyway, I'm going to take maybe about a 3x3 patch, and I'm going to solder a piece of sheet metal on it, and also do maybe on the other end just the same size patch with just glue, and then we'll have this big glue joint here. So then I'm going to somehow simulate a collision with this fender. We're going to crush it, do something with it, and we're going to see how all these joints hold up, the glue versus the solder. I think I know how the solder is going to hold up, but anyway, I'm kind of interested to see what a complete seam will do with using nothing but panel bonding adhesive, and see how that holds up. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm probably going to cut it somewhere right in here. So I'm going to take about a 4-inch strip, and I'm going to get all the paint removed before I even cut it. That way I don't have to fight hitting edges with the grinding disc or the clean and strip wheel. I got something nice and flat. I'll get this all cleaned up, and then we'll cut it. So let's get started. Okay, after the clean and strip wheel, I like using a roll-lock disc. I think it's 36 grit. Rough this up some. And I'm going to use a piece of masking tape for a straight edge. And we're going to cut this in half. And I think I'm going to cut on this side of the line, or this side of the tape. All right, now I'm going to clean the backside up. I want to get all the E-coat off, any rust, and I want to clean up all this. It's got edges on here from grinding on it. You get that burr. I want everything nice and smooth, all the way inside these corners, all the little creases in here. Everything has to be cleaned up to bare metal. All right, I got everything cleaned up on both sides. Now, this front piece is going to go inside the rear half. And there was some rust inside this lip, so I just took and sandblasted in here to get that cleaned up. And these inside corners are tough to get with really anything, so I just take a piece of 80 grit, get in there, make sure everything is bare metal. And we're going to prep this, get everything cut to fit, get our overlap all taken care of. When that's all done, I'm going to run the grinder over it again, clean everything up, make sure there's no contamination on there, make sure the metal is clean. So here's what I'm going to do to start. I'm going to measure back 1 inch, and that's going to be our overlap. So I'm just going to make a pencil mark in here, a few different spots, 1 inch. Fit this in here and put a couple of clamps on it temporarily. All right, now I'm going to scribe it on the outside here. I want to scribe that deep so I can see it. And then I'm going to actually follow it with masking tape. And that's just a little scribe that comes with a combo square. Okay, and I don't know if you can see it on here, but there's my scribe mark. I'm going to follow that with masking tape so I can see it. And then I'm going to cut slots in all these corners, all these edges, to relieve it, so when I put my offset in there, it's not going to bind up in here. The top part is rounded. I may have to put 1 or 2 in there, but I'm going to actually just notch out these corners here all the way around from one end to the other, hammer and dolly this so it's got an offset to it, so when the other panel comes over the top, they'll be perfectly flush. Okay, now I can come in here and it's a lot easier to see the tape than it is that scribe line. I'm going to cut slots in here right up to the tape mark. Everywhere there's a sharp bend. This may be okay, I'll have to get one in here, these corners. Get that going, and then we'll start our offset. All right, what I'm going to do, got a couple dollies here, toe dollies, a heel dolly. I've got 2 hammers. This has got a cross peen or a chisel on the end. This is my picking hammer. So I want to get a dolly underneath, right behind that tape mark, and I want to bend this down. And what that's going to do, once I get this bent down, that'll work hard in that edge and it'll help hold it. Then I'll move the dolly to the outside and I'll come up this way from underneath, and that'll put that offset in there so my other panel will fit in there nice. So And you can see that's why I relief cut these corners so they can fold in. So do one side at a time. Sometimes you might have to grind them out a little bit more, put like a little wedge to it, especially on these corners here, but we'll see how they go. But that can be adjusted as you go. And you can see how it's bending this down in here. So once I get it about where I want it, like I said, I want it to bend right on that tape mark. And then once we got that bent, and then we'll bend the edge of it up, and that'll put our offset in there. Okay, it's coming out pretty good. It's probably not going to show up. Let me get a little straight edge. Okay, that should show up there. You can see how it's got the offset to it. Takes a little bit of playing around with it. What I have to try and do then is keep this as flat as possible so it's not bent down or up too high. So it's just a little bit of little feel for it, little experience doing it from time to time, but it's coming along. I'm gonna continue working all the way down. And it's a lot easier when it's on the car, when it's mounted to something. This is kind of bouncing around. I'm trying to work with it on the sawhorse here, but it is a lot easier when it's stationary on a car. Corners can be a little tough here. Sometimes it helps to put another relief cut in there, but I'm going to try it with just the two there. And you should be able to see how that's working. This edge needs to go down some, but our offset is in there, so we're looking good. And you may be able to see, I actually went back a little bit farther. My scribe line ended up being only about 7/8 of an inch. So I moved the tape back and then just recut a little bit in there. I would rather have a little bit more room there. You can see the offset in there. So we'll fine tune it. I'll get this corner and this corner, get this done, and then we can test fit our panel on here, see how it looks. All right, I got the offset all the way around, the edges. Now, when we slide this in here, I'm gonna start here in the center and bring that right to where the end of my relief cut was. And you probably can't see it on the video, but this corner lays nice and flush. If you were going to glue this without having an offset, this panel is going to be up higher, and all your corners are going to give you a problem. You'd have to really bridge your Bondo out farther to blend all this in. So the way it is now, those things line up Have to get it adjusted here. But all these corners will come out nice and flush. And you can also do this if you're going to weld two panels together. You got to put those offsets in there, weld it solid, whatever you're going to do. But we're going to get some clamps on here, and then we're going to screw this all together. There's going to be a screw between every relief cut I made because I don't want that panel, that tab underneath, to be hanging down and just fill that void with glue. You want to get that glue in there, and that screw is going to suck it together. For that glue to do its job, it has to be in there compressed nice and tight. You can't have two panels that don't touch, that's got a big gap in them, and just fill it with glue. It doesn't hold. So like right in this area, there'll be two screws to pull that together. Across here, there'll probably be three, and we'll get this all pre-drilled, get our screws in it, see how it all looks, and we're almost ready for glue. All right, I got it mocked up. Everything fits nice and flush. Now, before I glue this outer piece, the top panel, I'm going to bevel this edge down. I don't want a nice square edge on there because that could show up later in the filler as a shadow. So this edge here, I'm going to take the grinder and just put like a knife edge on it so it tapers down. But before we take it apart and get it ready to glue, I'm going to cut a hole through here and make a patch, and I'm just going to glue that on the same time I'm doing this. Okay, I can take all these screws out, get it ready to glue. All right, this video run a little bit longer than I anticipated, so the next one coming up, I'm going to get this glued together. I'm going to glue the patch on here, and I'm going to get a soldered patch on this side of the bumper. So anyway, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.